that time of week once more for Muji and Dan to give you the comic store. It's time to open up those bags and boards, fans. Welcome to Get Your Pulls.
Have you read the new issue of Star Wars yet?
No, I don't think so.
We'll talk about it. I'm probably gonna have it on my pick.
Oh yeah, like you got all the Muji ain't here, so I don't have his plethora of books.
Oh shit!
So
I didn't think about that aspect of it.
So it's fine.
Kind of a very limited.
I have a limited selection too. I have 2 weeks worth of shit.
I was gonna say I don't have a stack that's like that tall.
Yeah.
So we'll fill time. We'll fill time. It's all good.
Okay.
So all right. Get Your Pulls, episode 112, starting in 5, a 4, a 3. Hello and welcome to Get Your Pulls, episode 112. I am Dan.
And we got Todd.
Mr. Jay.
Here for a brand new episode, and suspicious by his absence is the one great Muji, the founder of Get Your Pulls. He is off this week, but in our effort to bring you more content in 2016, the show's moving along. He's got an engagement with the future in-laws, so he's got to make a good impression.
I understand that.
That's
I was curious about that.
Must. You have to make the FaceTime, get in there, make yourself known.
Yeah.
Establish yourself.
You got to make sure when they die, they still want to leave you stuff.
Hey, coincidence. I was in one horrible marriage that ended in flames, crashing and burning. And the in-laws hated me in that relationship. But I've been in a very successful marriage, and I've just celebrated 5 years. We've been together for almost 10, and it's been awesome the whole time. And guess what? The in-laws love me, so there's something to that.
Oh yeah,
cornerstone of a good relationship.
I got pretty lucky on that front myself.
Yeah,
most people complain about their in-laws. I'm like, hey, they come over and do yard work when I'm not around, so I can't complain too much about it.
Is this the first time we've done a Muji-less Get Your Pulls, or was there might have been one more?
I think we did one.
I think we did one that was just me and Jay one time, didn't we?
Did we? Yeah, we did. I don't know. I get confused.
Yeah. Well, hope everybody's had a good 2016. Ours has started out pretty awesome.
So good.
Yeah, I've been very happy with everything thus far in the year, and lots of good entertainment out there. Of course, all the good shows are coming back now that the Christmas break is over. We talked about a lot of that last week, but got quite a bit of comic news to go over this week, especially with the big two, not so much with Image or the other third parties, just that, of course, the X-Files came back, and those issues from IDW are selling quite well now. As a result, people have got the X-Files fever again.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty big for them. And, Image, Walking Dead is poised to come back here in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be awesome. The comic has been amazing. We'll talk a little bit about that this week. There's been waves of Preacher, but like we talked about last week, just mainly a trailer. They still haven't officially announced the launch date, probably looking at the summertime, I'm hearing. But the,
can't wait for that.
Concerns. We talked about it last week, but
there's big concerns, just censorship-wise, I guess.
That, and they've kind of come out of the gate sort of defending some of the changes that they've made, and you
can't do that.
To me, that's a bad sign.
You put it out there, and then maybe play damage control, and maybe not even that.
But I'm a big fan of Seth Rogen, and I think he's a bright guy, and I think he's a fan of the source material. And respected opinions who have seen the pilot have said that it is something special, that it may not quite be the Preacher that you're used to, but that it is something special. So if they can do that in the vein of The Walking Dead, where they keep the spirit of it alive and change some key components, I'm okay with that, because I do understand the philosophy that they have going into this, which is a lot of times, let's not just make a rehash of the comic, because we've already seen that, and so it's like you're not going to surprise anyone who's read the comic. And in an era now where comics are very popular,
it's a smart move.
How are you going to do that?
No, you're right on that, but I
put your own spin on it.
I agree, though. It is a little disheartening. I mean, if you're going to, it's like having a bad shirt you're wearing. You sometimes you just got to own that shit and just let it ride. You can't just go in and apologize for it personally.
Right.
It's like, I wore a pink shirt to a funeral. I'm sorry. You can't do that. You just got to own that.
first thing, I just want to get it out of the way. Pink shirt. Sorry I'm wearing it, but I am. I decided to. Okay.
Deal with it.
Stop giving me crap. Or don't give me crap later.
So, but the big news coming out of the comic world is led by DC Comics, who are really trying to stick it to Marvel. You know, Marvel has had the media crown holding. They've sat in the throne for several years now. And the media in comics, in my personal opinion, has a great Marvel bias or an anti-DC bias. Mm-hmm. There seems to be a lot of favoritism towards Marvel in terms of reviews on major websites and things like that. And you know, Marvel has some questionable sales practices that DC doesn't really have. That people I don't really see that people give them shit over. You know, they really will fuck you really quickly with
the double ship books.
Yes,
$6.99 book out of nowhere, just in the middle of the storyline. Hey guys,
there's nothing worse.
Spend $8 this week.
I'm gonna go get my comics. You pull it out of your box, and you're like, "There's 3." They're like $7 a piece. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Oh, $8.99. But we gave you extra content, as in a fucking unrelated story in the backup that you didn't fucking ask for.
So sometimes they'll do that thing where they don't necessarily add more a dollar amount to the comic, but they'll throw in a book that's not doing as well as they think it should be doing, into a book like Spider-Man. Recent issue of Spider-Man had the Vision #1 in the back of it. It was kind of cool that they included it, but at the same time, it was if I bought the Vision #1, I'd feel a little cheated that I could have just got the story here.
No doubt. It's
you got an extra comic, shit.
Yeah, I still haven't figured that one out yet. But I don't know. I had to on Spider-Man. I had to take it off my list.
Oh, you
did?
It's
not
it's I've been really digging the new run of Spider-Man.
I don't know. Something about it just didn't. It's not. It just doesn't have the same.
Yeah, he's got a different role now. He's more he's like a Bruce Wayne Spider-Man. He's got the big company.
Yeah.
He's got the fancy gadgets. He's driving a car. He's got a sidekick.
He's got multiple vehicles now. He's Spider-Man. He's not fucking Bruce Wayne, okay?
Yeah, there's already a Bruce Wayne. Why do you want Spider-Man to be the elements of Spider-Man that you love? He's a relatable, grounded, everyman, blue-collar character, like the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. He's a wined and dined with kings and queens and slept in alleys and fed on pork and beans, baby. And that's what you want Peter Parker to be. You don't want him to be a fucking billionaire.
Maybe part of that is they want, when Miles comes in next month, they want him to take more of the traditional, young Spidey role, where Spider-Man has this new, bigger, more powerful kind of position in the Marvel Universe. I don't know.
Perhaps. But anyway, DC leading with the big news this week, and they have been kind of hot on the heels of Marvel lately, with the various trailers that we're going to talk about in a minute. Yeah. Things coming out. The various television shows that are just mind-blowingly awesome and super popular. Yeah. And now they have announced that they are going to completely reboot one more time. The new 52 is history. There's going to be a huge event called DC Rebirth. And so with DC Rebirth, they're saying that they're wanting to make things more in the vein of continuity closely resembling current television and film media. Okay. So one would have to wonder, based on that, and based on the fact that the event is called Rebirth, if you look back to the various events called Rebirth, like Green Lantern Rebirth, brought back the dead Hal Jordan. The Flash Rebirth, which brought back the dead Barry Allen.
That started it all.
Okay.
Bringing back the classic names.
So DC Rebirth, some are theorizing, will be the bringing back of the dead pre-New 52 continuity.
That would be like DC, some people call it DC August, where it's that time period between Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they condense down to one DC universe, and up until, the New 52, which is my main time of reading DC Comics, so I'm cool with that.
That seems to have been the fan popular opinion for a long time. I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen, but I think it might at least be something close to that. But if they're wanting to resemble current television and film media, there's obviously going to be more diversity. I think you're going to see with the changes on the races of the characters, like the Allens and others, that you're going to probably see those changes in the comics as well.
Yeah.
And because that's, what people see on TV, you want them to see it in the comics too. So total continuity, that's a good thing for them because that's how they're going to capitalize. Marvel doesn't try to do that at all.
That's true.
They try to bring back people from the dead and shit when their movie comes out.
Yeah,
that's a big Marvel trick.
Plug on forward, try to tie it in where they can.
Yeah, but they don't really try to keep their continuity in line with what's happening in the films.
Yeah.
And if they do that in DC, that's something that makes the comics more accessible to fans.
Sure.
And I think it's probably a good thing, actually. I've enjoyed the New 52. I know it's gotten a lot of hate from a lot of people that love the old continuity, but I've enjoyed it for the most part.
I've had mixed feelings about it. Like, some books are way stronger than others. Batman
Absolutely.
Being the crowning achievement, I think, of New 52.
Yes, and it is a book that really didn't change much about Batman, whereas, some of the other books changed. Like Superman,
made it so great,
he kind of really had a hard time finding his place in the New 52. Wonder Woman, I thought, excelled in the New 52. I thought Brian Azzarello, Cliff Chang, oh my God, it was just fantastic.
I never checked that out, so I wasn't.
Yeah, highest recommendation possible. It's so good. Yeah, it's like Wonder Woman will be one of your favorite characters if she isn't already.
Really?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I loved it myself personally. So that's coming from the New 52, and that New 52 going down, and the new DC Rebirth is coming up. So interesting.
That could be cool. I just hope they don't try to pull like they did the last big event where I end up having to buy a whole lot of books for nothing. See previous issues of the show if you wonder what I'm talking about.
You really gotta go through that to understand how to really pick and choose what you want out there.
Yeah,
because we've all been burned by the big crossover events and the big changes.
I'm still licking my wounds over that one.
Some are better than others.
My coffee table at least is held up now. Nothing else.
You had your Waterloo or Avengers versus X-Men in my world.
Oh yeah, Mine was the Age of Ultron most recently. I defended till the bitter end. And now I hate it.
It's funny how opinions change over time on things like that.
You really stick with something you're pumping lots of money into every month.
Yeah, you want to justify that expenditure,
See, I spent money.
Look at all these books I bought. They're great.
Those dollars ain't fucking easy to come by these days, And so you really want to justify having to drop them, but then you get that buyer's remorse months later where you're like, fuck this.
No one wants to buy this now.
Oh, God.
So as part of that, and part and parcel to the Rebirth, we get Scott Snyder is leaving Batman after all of this time.
That's rough.
Damn.
Man.
Yeah.
That sucks. But,
he'll still be in the Bat wheelhouse there, the Batman Batverse.
He will.
But, it's the less popular book.
He will.
Maybe that's the justification there. They're trying to give a little boost to Detective.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to start picking that up because you're gonna get like gold from that.
Yeah.
Detective has been tremendous pretty much the entire run with just a few dead spots. Otherwise it has been pretty good. Because it focuses on the current continuity, but not so much because it doesn't have to tie into everything. So it's like just telling good, like sideways stories that are just kind of off to the side and just, good Batman shit, just gives you that satisfaction. Of course, they've done the crazy thing where Jim Gordon's been Batman for the last several months, and now Bruce Wayne has lost his identity. But obviously Bruce is coming back soon, and so that's all happening. So Scott Snyder's leaving Batman the book, but he's going to Detective Comics. We know that.
So how long will he be on Batman? Is the question. Like how many issues?
Through issue 52, I'm told.
Okay. So at least through the return of.
That's when the New 52 is ending. Apparently, is issue 52 of each book.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they'll do the issue 52 and they'll wrap.
At least the ones that have survived that long.
Yes, there are those several that didn't. Oh, yeah. Several. Fucking OMAC is nowhere to be found.
Poor OMAC. The book no one wanted.
They still don't.
So Greg Capullo is also leaving. And
yeah.
that sucks, you know. But what a great run, you know. Who has that long of a run nowadays? Nobody, you know.
It's hard to come by.
I mean, they were on it from issue 1, and they'll be on it to the end, to issue 52 until they reboot the book. Yeah. So that's fucking awesome. First of all, that's an accomplishment. That's really an achievement.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think I've bought a Batman book and through their run that has been like bad.
No,
like I think every one of them. I don't even know that they had
the
really
fill-in books where even there were a few where it was not the original team, even like of Capullo and Snyder, but those were great issues too.
Yeah, they were. Well, some of those were even refreshing. Just had something different to kind of look at, different, at least artwork as far as Capullo goes. But yeah, it's been a great run. I hate to hear that it's going to be coming to an end.
It's kept that high quality, but where does Capullo go? That's what we need to know.
Capullo is apparently doing some independent project, possibly with Image, for 6 months.
He is. He's working with Mark Miller. Mark Miller announced that they're doing a series together. So
I didn't hear that.
So he's doing that for 6 months, and then he's coming back, and he and Scott Snyder will reunite on a new DC title, a new character apparently that they're going to take over, like a brand new thing.
Oh, that'll be kind of refreshing.
Yeah, so it could be Superman, maybe. Like I think that's where they would be because Superman needs rehabbing the most.
Yeah, I had to take Superman off my list.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of.
I left when Ramita started doing the interior. Stopped doing the interiors.
So yeah, I don't know what.
And it was bad.
Well, I know, like I still end up because I've just taken it off my list, and so I got the most recent one and read through it.
Yeah,
and I didn't even bother to bring it tonight because it was. Yeah, and they started doing the deal where it was like, see Action Comics number blah 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 for this event, and then it was like, I'm not fucking buying Action Comics, just do a damn self-contained Superman story.
Playing second fiddle to Action Comics, which apparently was the better of the two throughout that run.
I don't know. So I would be totally excited to see somebody new on Superman. Hopefully, it would be them. That would be great.
It would be.
Yeah, for sure. That would be awesome. So that, new shakeup coming in DC. It's probably about time with them about to launch this giant film universe, and they are the TV universe being so hot now. And let's talk about that right now.
Oh yeah,
DC television back in full swing. The multiverse theory is now a fact.
That's big stuff.
They've confirmed that as well. Pretty huge. We're even told, I'm hearing rumblings that Ezra Miller might show up on The Flash, as the movie Flash.
Cool. I haven't heard that. That's cool. That's neat.
To connect everything, as the multiverse. So, they've opened that gateway. And The Flash, to me, is the best superhero show on television. It is so good. I think, if you're not watching The Flash, you're just missing out. You're missing out on the purest. And it's a more positive type show. I love the Batman type Arrow show, which is also awesome. Arrow has been fucking amazing.
What I've seen of it, I've really liked Arrow. But The Flash, for me, it has the most true, reading a monthly comic book feel of anything I've seen. Yeah. Like the Marvel Netflix shows, they seem more like a whole story, like a 10-part movie almost, like a trade paperback. You pick that up and read this story, wait a little, you read another story. But The Flash, it seems to be more of a month-to-month, here's the Flash comic, but hey, it's a TV show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been... Well, I didn't read a whole lot of The Flash comic-wise until I saw the show was coming out, and I thought, okay, well, the show looks pretty good, so I started picking the book up, because I'd read a few here and there, and wasn't that enthused about it, and, it got me into the book, so, they made their money on me right there through the show. But and even
sold you.
And every episode, I can't think of a slow episode of The Flash where I just watched it and was like, I'm gonna go to the kitchen, to get some popcorn or some crap. Yeah, I'm pretty much there the whole time. It's just been phenomenal.
It's maintained a really high level of quality, storytelling wise and acting wise for the most part.
Oh, they just keep adding layers too, just more and more layers to the show. Every week, every episode, everything is playing out over the long haul. And seen some interesting things in terms of the multiverse theory, which is a little bit of a spoiler, but on Arrow this week, Amanda Waller was killed, shot in the fucking head, point blank.
Damn.
And so, they've already casted Amanda Waller for the films.
Right.
So I think maybe they're trying to, thin out some of the herd a little bit so there's not so much marketplace confusion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Flash and Arrow just top of the line, and now, of course, they have spun off into a new show, DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. This is the most insane attempt at a superhero show ever.
Yeah.
these guys have just gone in here balls to the wall. Like, they just threw their nuts out on the table to CW and were like, look, we're doing this because Flash is so popular. Because used to, we had to hide all the superhero elements and make it more realistic. And now we can just fully embrace it.
Yeah,
and
give the team show.
Yes, give you everything. And so the team show, you get like an Avengers, Justice League type vibe. It's like the Justice League B team. And you get fucking this Doctor Who vibe where they travel through time to solve different fucking mysteries and shit. And you get the great villain in Vandal Savage. And so, because he's immortal, you set up this one villain throughout as opposed to like a Freak of the Week. But, like, they're following through different time periods. And they killed off a major part of the crew in the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, fucking nuts, spoiler alert, turn it off if you haven't watched. Turn it off. Okay, turn it off yet?
If you didn't,
you're still listening. You're still listening. God damn it, turn it off.
They want to hear it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking Vandal Savage kills the shit out of Hawkman in the first episode.
Yeah.
Like,
he had it coming.
He was kind of a dick.
He was a douche a little bit.
It wasn't my favorite.
No.
But my God, and it's like part Doctor Who, and it's just so fucking crazy. Like, you got Rip Hunter, the Time Lord, and they did the deal at the beginning of the first episode. Like, the first thing you see is Vandal Savage in the future in this, like, a post-apocalyptic era, like this war-torn town. Everything's fucking on fire.
Yes.
And he finds this woman and this little kid, and he fucking slaughters the woman. And he's like, are you brave like your mother or a coward like your father? And he goes, the kid doesn't say anything. He spits in his face, actually. And he goes,
nice.
So, you want to be like your mother? And he fucking kills the kid. And then, like, you think it's just like, oh, we're getting a little heat on Vandal Savage to start things off. Well, at the end of the episode, like, all this shit with Rip Hunter, like, he tells them that they're going to be legends of tomorrow. That, like, in the future, because he's from the future, in the future, that they're going to be the greatest superheroes of all time. They go on this mission and, like, they barely fucking make it out alive. Vandal Savage fucking whips their ass.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, I was lying. Like, the whole reason I brought you here is because you're inconsequential to the timeline. Yeah. If you die, it won't fucking matter. So, the team is like the Atom and Captain Cold and Heatwave and White Canary, who is the former Black Canary from Green Arrow, Sarah Lance, who was killed and then brought back to life in the Lazarus Pit. And so she's, got the bloodlust from the Lazarus Pit, like, so she goes off and does her own thing here with them. And the Atom, Ray Palmer, of course, is great. He's kind of like the lead character. You got Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And who am I forgetting, Jay?
I can never remember.
Firestorm.
Yes, Firestorm. Ronnie Raymond and Jason, not Ronnie Raymond, I'm sorry. Jason Rush.
Yes, the
version
second
of Firestorm. Yes. With
Professor
Martin Stein.
Yeah, I always screw him up. I always just think, I'm like, it's like the DC, Human Torch.
Yeah.
I can never, like, remember the name of the character.
It's a good idea because, the two shows that they kind of spawned from, like, you get all these great actors and all these great characters, and instead of having those shows turn into a big snowball of, like, you gotta juggle all these characters all the time, it's like, hey, we got all these great guys, let's put them all in their own show so they can kind of shine over there, and we can worry about regular stuff we normally would on the Flash and Arrow.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Well, I mean, I wonder, because, they've had, Flash and Arrow, kind of events, crossovers or whatever. I wonder if they're going to include some of Legends of Tomorrow and some of those other crossovers with the other two shows as well.
Sure.
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'd be interested to see that.
That's kind of what they spawned out of. Like, the lead-in was really strong. I watched that. I haven't seen the full premiere of the Legends of Tomorrow yet, but the lead-in with the Vandal Savage coming to Flash and Arrow, it was great.
Yeah, it really was. And, like, it's a show that is just poised to be different from the pack because it does something totally different than the other shows. That's very similar. I mean, it's the most superhero-y team-up show.
Yeah, it's a team-up show. You don't have that really anywhere else.
And the fact that they can go all over time just creates so many possibilities. We're hearing possibilities that Sergeant Rock and the Haunted Tank, may appear, and fucking that Jonah Hex is absolutely going to appear, and they're going to go to the Old West and shit. Like, so it's like a Star Trek-y vibe almost. Like it's gonna be really fucking awesome.
Well, it definitely help keep it fresh too.
Yeah. And like with the Atom, you really get like he never really showed out on Arrow doing like he was basically just Iron Man light.
Yeah, he's like Iron Man.
But now with the fucking Legends of Tomorrow, they're really showing off his shrinking powers and him going off and doing things small, and that's pretty awesome. So that's been fantastic. DC shows, highly recommend them all on CW. Supergirl has been good as well. Sorry, I've had a couple of beers.
I am keeping up to date with that show as well. The Martian Manhunter was a pretty cool reveal on that.
Yeah, it's been really good. Of course, I only get to see the last 30 minutes of every episode because I don't fucking get home until I run in the middle of it. So I'm like,
get a DVR, bro.
I assume the show's really good based on the second
just get a Hulu subscription. Well, Supergirl's not on Hulu, but all the other ones
are. You can go to CBS.com, which that's what I've been doing.
And you motherfuckers don't have an excuse. Arrow is on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm just lazy.
I'm slowly catching up. I just haven't made it a priority.
You'll mark out for all the DC cameos. There's so fucking many. Like, as many as in The Flash are in Arrow. Yeah. Like, that's where it started out. You're going to see the whole Suicide Squad, like, twice. You're going to see Deadshot. You're going to see fucking... you're going to see Deathstroke, who is, like, movie level good.
Deathstroke storyline was amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, Suicide Squad trailers have come out, and they're looking pretty good. I was kind of on it at first, but after the most recent trailers, I'm like way excited. So,
okay, I haven't seen the newest trailer yet.
I would recommend them.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think
newest trailer is set to Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's fantastic.
It was really good, man.
Yeah,
I've got to go home and get on the internet now. I wasn't on there enough.
Hey, have yet another reason.
You're doing a comics podcast and you get on the internet a lot?
I can't believe it.
And of course, Batman, Superman hype reaching a fever pitch, and everybody's excited about that. But we've talked about that a lot in recent weeks. Just now, it's just like put your money where your mouth is. We've seen a little teaser of Wonder Woman in that DC special. Yeah. What's going to be a period piece in World War II. We're going to find out that Wonder Woman is like 100 years old. So, okay, cool. But that's going to be cool. Moving over to Marvel, though, we've got a big Spider-Man event coming up. Spider-Man Dead No More.
Dead No More. Who is Dead No More?
Yes, bring back a major character. Who's it going to be?
My money is on Ben Reilly because I just want him to come back. It's definitely not him, but I'd like to see the Scarlet Spider.
So you are a Scarlet Spider fan.
The money is probably on Gwen or Ben.
Yeah.
The other Ben.
You just want it back because you've got a stack that's like a mile high.
Well, I'm not going to sell it. It's just, I really enjoy, I'm one of the few people that enjoy the clone.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to put it back on my freaking list now because there's something new happening.
You can wait a little while.
I'll just borrow yours. How about that?
Yeah, that's cool, yeah. Keep in the loop there.
Yeah, a lot of people thinking Uncle Ben, which would be sacrilege. That'd be horrible.
That'd be weird.
You do have Spider-Gwen off in her own universe. I wonder if they're going to try to, like they did with Miles, try to incorporate that character, bring her back from the dead, but it's the same. Maybe not. I don't know.
Quite possibly. Who knows? And Civil War 2 is coming in the comic universe. Going to be Iron Man versus Captain Marvel this time.
Yeah, he's just starting beefs with everybody. What's the deal with that?
He's a smart ass.
He's difficult. He's difficult to work with.
He has undiagnosed problems.
That's one comic I did not bring with me. Invincible Iron Man.
It's been tremendous. Yeah,
phenomenal.
It really has.
Yeah.
Bendis is killing it
again. I need to read them.
They're very good.
Because I don't want to buy them.
I'll let you borrow. Let's start making a list of stuff I need to send your way.
Here you go. Here's this list.
So that'll be out just in time for the Civil War movie releasing in May. And then, of course, 2016 is going to be a huge movie year for Marvel all around. I mean, obviously, they don't own all the movie rights, but for their properties, like, you're going to have Civil War, Doctor Strange, Deadpool, and X-Men Apocalypse.
Deadpool first out of the gate. It's like next week, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it next week? I don't.
February 2, I think.
I also don't look at calendars, just like I don't get on the internet.
Well.
Deadpool, I'm excited about Deadpool. It's going to be pretty good.
And yeah, so it's a huge year for movies. The Deadpool viral marketing, as we talked about last week on the show, has been tremendous.
It just doesn't stop. Like, even yesterday I saw an ad where Deadpool explains how to check your testicles for lumps. And he was very serious about it. It was just hilarious. It had a little Deadpool symbol come out next to him, and it opened up and had a diagram of testicles and how to feel them. He talks a lot about before you masturbate, you might want to check the boys out.
While you're at it, while you're down there.
It had me in stitches.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. Agent Carter's back and has been tremendous. I don't know if you guys have seen any of that.
I haven't seen the new stuff, but I really enjoyed the first short series there.
Yeah, it's very well done. Very well done. Looks like they might be possibly have explained the origin of the symbiote. Maybe
I gotta go look at that. That's pretty amazing.
Something alien has landed, and they have it, and it's like looks like the symbiote and acts like the symbiote. So I don't know.
Well,
it's probably the symbiote.
It fucks up my theory because I thought we would do like a Secret Wars type of thing when they have the Infinity War movie come out. Maybe they get into space. Spider-Man gets his costume messed up, then he gets the black goo on him, but I guess that might not happen now.
I don't know. Maybe
he takes
not.
it into space with him.
Maybe it's unrelated, or maybe it is. I don't know. But
we'll have to find out.
Certainly making it look that way. So, Disney executive is on record as also saying Marvel will never stop making, or Disney will never stop making Marvel and Star Wars movies. So that's good to hear.
It's like good news.
It's good and bad news because now that means I know I'll never live long enough to see them all. So I'll be haunting movie theaters in the afterlife looking for
the big little kids. I keep seeing this guy over here with this beard and this Star Wars hat on. Who is he? He scares me.
Oh, that's the ghost of Dan. He's just here to watch Star Wars. Don't worry about that.
He won't hurt you.
If I could only become a Force ghost, that would be the greatest.
I'm just here to watch movies.
That's okay. If you did that, then they could replace your ghost later with like a younger, cooler version.
When I first appear, I'll be haggardly and old like I was when I die, hopefully. And then, years later, they will replace me with a more handsome, younger looking me.
Who's nowhere near as good an actor.
Oh, no.
So, the last thing on the news before we get to the polls, Star Wars Rogue One, it has been officially announced that Darth Vader will be appearing in the movie, voiced by...
a huge role in it, apparently. Or much bigger than previously thought by him.
Voiced by James Earl Jones. And also...
How could you not?
The young Han Solo is close to being cast. They're down to like 9 guys. So we're going to be hearing an announcement about that soon.
Yeah, and I mean, those guys don't have it easy. That's going to be a tough role to fill. Because
that's going to be a little rough.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool. I mean, that'll be the first touch of like a new interpretation of the old characters. Like maybe in the future we might see a new Luke.
Yeah, but I always fear change is my problem. Is my problem.
I usually do, but I'm kind
we'll
of
see.
I
don't know. It could be good. I mean, they've been doing good things, so I would assume that they're going to keep the same kind of attention to detail, I guess.
Yeah, the first Han Solo movie will be Lawrence Kasdan's last film.
Oh, wow.
Disney, Marvel, Star Wars.
So drop the mic on us.
Yeah, so that will be his lasting legacy with the Star Wars franchise. So I imagine it's going to be good. I'm
pretty strong one, though.
Yeah. Not worried at all. So, what about our polls, gentlemen? Let's get our polls.
Polls.
Rustle around in my bag over here.
I have no order in which to talk about any of these. I guess I'll just dig in.
Go ahead, Todd. You go first. No
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a new one came out this week, a couple days ago. I haven't read it, but the last issue, number 53, was kind of a standalone. Michelangelo's gone off to hang out with the Mutanimals. If you remember the Ninja Turtles adventures from when we were kids, like they had this extra set of mutants that weren't the regular group of Ninja Turtles and their friends. It was the Mutanimals,
like the fucking panda bear and the fucking rabbit.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Kind of those guys. Well, it was like Wingnut.
Wingnut and Screw Loose?
Yeah, Wingnut and Screw Loose.
Right.
And then you had Ray Fillet and the werewolf guy. It was those guys.
The motherfucker that was made entirely out of garbage?
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. Well, we have the Mutagen Man. He's there. I remember having a toy of him. He's just like like a circulatory system in a brain inside of a case. And you got Mondo Gecko / there's some classic characters and some of the newer ones kind of mixed in. And Michelangelo has left the main group of the Ninja Turtles because they, of course, are now in charge of the Foot Clan, and he's not cool with that. So it's cool to see him off in his own set of adventures. And I guess we should talk about Batman.
Hey, everybody loves Batman.
Yeah, I've read that one for sure. So,
yeah, it's still strong as hell. I'm really enjoying the new villain. What the hell's his name?
Mr. Bloom? Is it
Mr. Bloom?
Mr. Bloom, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Bloom. Maybe
weird flower looking. He's a
creepy.
weird looking villain.
Yeah,
super
he's
fucking
fucked up.
creepy.
But I mean, yeah, no, go ahead.
I don't know what to say about this issue. I really like the back and forth conversation on the bench with the guy who it's the Joker, right?
That's my.
It has to be the Joker. He's trying to convince Batman to not be Batman, but maybe he's antagonizing to be Batman.
Yeah, like I kind of some of the dialogue because he's like sitting there and he's like, oh yeah, and he like pulls out a gun and he's like, I came here with this gun. It's like,
be Batman.
It's like, what are you? You're sitting there reading. You're like, what are you gonna do? Like,
he's tired of not having his Batman around, so he's gonna try to nudge him, and it apparently worked.
It's just kind of weird to see him drawn like a regular person.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
I think that's what I liked a lot about it. All his dialogue was like super on the fence. Like he's talking about normal stuff, but like after a minute, it's really weird stuff he's talking about. It was a cool scene, and I'm digging it. I'm looking forward to the return of Batman, but I've really enjoyed the Jim Gordon and the Rookie.
Yeah,
his Iron Man suit.
Oh yeah. I know when they started the Jim Gordon, decided they were going to do Jim Gordon. I was kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first,
but it's actually been pretty good.
I've been really digging it.
Well, the one advantage of it being in the New 52 is it's not a old and decrepit Jim Gordon.
Yeah,
it's a young Jim Gordon in his like early 40s,
And he gave up smoking. I like how he's always has like a candy cigarette. You think he's smoking, and then he like eats it. It's like it's funny. Joke there. And a new series I've been picking up is Monstrous, and it's the artwork style is really inspired by manga comics. It's a new Image series. It has a predominantly female cast, and there's a lot of mystery involved around like the plot, but it's like about war and surviving war and stuff like that. There's a lot of mysticism. It's like a fantasy, sci-fi kind of
How
feel
far
to
into
it.
that are they?
This is only number 2. Number 3 came out this week. But it's been really good.
Cool.
Providence has been super creepy. This came out like a month ago, but it's been a while since I've been here.
Oh yeah, you missed last time.
There's been some controversy because people don't like when you put a rape scene in a comic book or in anything really. And this one has a supremely scary one. And it has like an extra layer of creepiness to it because it's like it's this guy is forced to rape himself, basically. Yeah. He encounters this character that has embodied like his granddaughter, and he can like switch his mind between different people, and he's like inhabited her personality or her body. But it's this old creepy guy.
Weird.
And he like lures this dude into his room, and it's like the main protagonist of the story. And then he like mind swaps both of them, and he's like, oh, what the hell's going on? And it's super scary stuff. And
it is Alan Moore.
It's Alan Moore. Yeah, he got a lot of flack for including that particular scene, but I found it very compellingly scary as fuck.
I'm sure he didn't care at all.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Oh, of course he did. He says he's not going to respond to any criticisms anymore. He's just going to let his comics speak for themselves. This one definitely spoke to me on a very eerie, creepy level.
Awesome. Well, glad to see you still making quality material out
it's
there.
A great book. Invader Zim has continued to be really good. The main writer, Jonan Vasquez, is now gone into a more editorial kind of role in it. And this book is also there's a new artist and writer. And it's just hilarious. It's about him applying for a bank loan so he can get weapons-grade plutonium. And hijinks ensue. And there's like a McRib joke that's really funny. That he gives birth in a restaurant. It's it's completely hard to explain, but It's hilarious. Mark Waid's run on Archie has continued to be good after Fiona Staples left. Now we have Veronica Fish for this and at least one more issue. And her artwork is a perfect replacement for Fiona Staples. If not, it's not exactly like hers, but it's the same kind of feel. Like, really good at facial expressions. Keeps the same tone of the book. And there's always a backup class, like an introduction to classic Archie, and Mark Waid has a little intro to that. And it's really cool to see some of these older Archie stories and to realize that they are legitimately funny and worthy of a read. Next, we have All New X-Men, which has been okay. It's Dennis Hopeless on writing. He replaced Mark Bagley.
I usually enjoy him.
Yeah, this is the first of his books that I've read, and I love Mark Bagley from, of course, Amazing and Ultimate Spider-Man. But here, it's pretty much the same cast as the regular All New X-Men. It's just Jean Grey is swapped out for X-23, the new Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a couple of new characters which they've done a very poor job of explaining who they are, and I wish we're 3 issues in, and they haven't really told me who they are. I guess maybe they've been in a different book. There's a token black character, and her name is unpronounceable to me. I don't know what she does. I just know she's there. And there's Kid Apocalypse. They haven't explained why he's Kid Apocalypse, how there's a Kid Apocalypse, but he's a good guy.
He's been a character for a while in the X-Men continuity. He is, his name's Evan.
We'll see, yeah.
And he comes from the Jason Aaron Wolverine of the X-Men run.
Well, that helps.
Oh, okay. It took me a minute to figure out who that.
If only Dennis Hopeless could get to that point.
And the whole deal is that he's seen his future, and he turns out to become Apocalypse and kill like 1 million people. But so his whole existence is trying to prevent that from happening.
Okay, well, he kind of fits in with that. The main story idea of the All New X-Men. It's like Cyclops is trying to not turn into crazy, kill Professor Xavier Cyclops.
He was raised by Phantomas in an artificial intelligence program that made him think he was Superman, raised by the Kents.
Well, okay.
Wait, what?
Well, Phantomas found him because he was Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He was an Apocalypse spawn. And he was like, well, fuck, like nature versus nurture. If I put him in the environment to be the perfect man,
nice.
He's got all these Apocalypse powers, so he's just Superman.
Yeah.
And he's raised by, a Marvel version of Monpaw Kent on a farm.
Interesting.
And but it's all artificial intelligence. He just doesn't know that. He comes to find out later when Phantomas is killed. And so then, he spends his whole life then he sees his future and spends his whole life trying to stop from becoming Apocalypse because he was raised with the morals.
Yeah. All that's interesting and great. I wish they had explained that to me. They even have a recap page, with all the pictures of all the characters, just have a little blurb, hey, that's where he comes from. But as a reader of the old All New X-Men series, I'm completely clueless. I like these other ones, so, I think it's written more in the mind of having a trade paperback later, so the greater story will eventually be fleshed out. It's just, I'm left a little confused by at least 2 of the characters, so thanks for that.
Sure. Do what I can.
And my pick of the week from last month, Spider-Man Deadpool #1, which we get return to the character he helped to make famous. Joe Kelly is the writer, and we get Ed McGuinness, who started the monthly ongoing Deadpool series with Joe Kelly. So it's great to see them both together, and it's great to see Spider-Man and Deadpool together in the same book. Because to me, it's like a dirty joke comedian and a clean stand-up comic, sparring with comedy.
Right on. Fair enough.
Throughout the book, and he gets both of them perfect, tonally, because they're both super funny. And Spider-Man's also, really annoyed by Deadpool's antics. And the first issue is Deadpool trying to trick Spider-Man into teaming up with him so that he can try to, get some of his good hero vibes rubbed off on him. So he's a better hero in general and not just a mercenary, kind of a maniac kind of guy. So, I'm interested to see where this goes. I just love seeing Joe Kelly back on Deadpool.
That's cool. Awesome. I just had a few picks this week to discuss. I had 2 issues of Southern Bastards that I forgot to discuss in the last episode. Oops.
Recap.
Those were in the bathroom.
But they were fantastic. One's about a new character they're debuting in the book, who's this woodsman who is like supremely Pentecostally religious, and but is like it's a snake handler. But apparently he's like he'll do anything to protect his family. So like he's not above like fucking somebody up. So they didn't really explain how he ties into anything. It was just kind of an aside, but you got to wonder like he might run afoul of Coach Boss at some point. There could be fireworks. The next issue was another aside. Southern Bastards was great about that. Like each issue is almost like a character analysis. Yeah. And so this issue is about the little boy. What the hell is his name? I'm trying to remember. I don't even know if they actually say it. The little boy that witnessed Earl Tubbs' murder and was there in his house and got the shit beat out of him by the gang of thugs in the county, from the football team. And so he's in a hospital in a wheelchair, and like it's a wrestling issue. He loves wrestling, so he's watching it on TV, and he's on all these fucking meds in the hospital. So he has this crazy hallucination, and
that's where the chicken comes in.
Yes, and then he has a vision like that leads him to these attack dogs that have kind of been roaming the property that tell him to like summon an army. So I don't know, like it's a really weird issue, but it's awesome. So I really dug it. So that was great. So, and then also with the Walking Dead issue number 150.
Landmarks 150.
Oversized issue with a lot of big events. Dwight leaving the camp. Rick Grimes getting jumped by several unidentified assailants, until one of them identifies himself. And then the other guy freaks out and he's like, we gotta kill him. And then when that guy's like trying to kill Rick or decide, to get the balls up to do it.
Yeah.
Rick jumps up and bites his fucking throat and rips it out.
Like Rick.
And the motherfucker dies and bleeds out. And so, and we have Andrea walking in on Carl, getting him some for a real uncomfortable stepmom moment.
Nothing?
And then Rick gets returned to the camp, and he stands up bloody in front of the entire populace. Yeah. And he brings up the motherfucker that identified himself and puts him on his knees in front of everybody. And then he shows him compassion. And he says, because we're not like those animals, the Whisperers. And he's taking Negan's advice and getting them all riled up to go to war. And he has this big, giant, rah-rah speech. And at the end of the issue, they're all chanting, Rick Grimes, Rick Grimes, Rick Grimes. So it worked. And now you have the interesting thing at play where he took Negan's advice and ended up winning over the entire community.
That's interesting.
But my pick of the week was another addition to my addiction, more addictive than black tar heroin, Star Wars comics from Marvel.
Become their own little empire.
Yeah, the Star Wars comics made up like 60% of all Marvel comics sold. Of all comics sold, I think.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Like they're taking my money.
Performing exceptionally. So I had to get the miniseries, even though not the biggest fan of the prequels, but love Star Wars The Clone Wars. Yeah. And I trust Charlie Soule as a writer. And it's a miniseries, so I know I'm not in for the long-term investment. So I tried out Obi-Wan and Anakin #1. This takes place during his early training around episode 2. And you get to see a lot of great interaction between Anakin and Obi-Wan, a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of again, I think this is an attempt, much like the Clone Wars was, to rehab those storylines and to make the fall of Anakin better. Right. Because it was very weak if you just watch the films. But if you look in the Clone Wars and you see all a lot of great stuff there. Various things he did to
bolsters it, patches it up a little bit.
Yeah, and this is another piece of that. We see him training in the temple. We see him lose his temper and fuck up one of the Padawans and then go apologize, for losing his temper and being emotional. And, it's just crazy. And then, of course, we're getting more of the Clone Wars type atmosphere where they're going to different planets and solving political conflicts. And,
as they do.
It's very Star Trek-y feel, in my opinion, because there's a different planet and race almost each time. And they come across this group of bounty hunters who has no idea what a Jedi is. So, that's how you are left in the issue, and it's got me very excited for more. And I've also added the Podameron series that's coming out, as well as the C3PO one-shot special. So
you'll have to keep us up on that. I'm leery to buy any more Star Wars books. Don't jinx myself.
They've all been good. So, Jay, take us home. We got about 10 minutes left.
Oh, okay. That's pretty much right on track. Let's see. I'll go through them here. I guess honorable mentions. I got Secret Wars number 9. I was a little disappointed in it, to be honest, because I really enjoyed it. It was almost like they had too much material for 8 issues, but not quite enough material for 9.
Yeah,
to me,
I agree.
So
there were a few weak issues of the Secret Wars main story, but I really enjoyed number 9. I don't know the whole.
I don't know.
Between Doom and Reed.
I guess I just didn't feel it as much as I thought I would. Yeah. I really liked the other ones. It was good, but it wasn't. I don't know. It didn't float my boat.
The whole idea that the main Reed and Sue are now outside of. They're pretty much the gods. Of the all different Marvel. They have reshaped instead of Doom's Marvel cobbled together planet. It's the Marvel Universe proper, and they're using Franklin Richards' power to flesh it out and make it more solid. And now it's their job to explore these different universes, but they're not going to be in the comics. So it's kind of shitty. But they left Human Torch and the Thing out of it, so they can go off and be in Guardians of the Galaxy and wherever else Human Torch is.
Wherever they go. But I don't know. It was good, but it just wasn't what I expected. So a little
maybe a little bit of fizzle. I agree on that.
Let's see, Batman. I got that one here. That was pretty good. Number 48. I really enjoyed it. They did finish up the issue 5 of 5, the drawing of the 3. I've mentioned it a few times on the show before. I was very, very happy with it. I thought they handled it pretty well.
I've kind of fallen out of the touch with the Dark Tower Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, they were really good in this of fleshing out some of the, what goes on with her right after she gets her legs cut off and that kind of thing. They put in some stuff that wasn't in the books.
Okay,
so at least you were getting some new material in there.
Yeah.
And, kind of an interesting interpretation of what you did read in the novels. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Let's see what I've got here in my stack. We've got Astonishing Ant-Man number 4. It's still, in my opinion, it's still delivering, and it's effing hilarious. Just to let you know, if you haven't been following Ant-Man, there was the development of this app called Hitch, where you can look up.
I saw the beginnings of that because
you can look up and find the perfect villain for whatever superhero you have. Well,
it's been a really funny book.
Ant-Man. People keep running into Ant-Man and having problems, with him, and he's trying to start his own security company, and they keep sending these people after him. Well, now there's another app that is also doing the same thing, and then that's in there.
To happen in the real world.
And then let me flip through the pages here so I don't miss anything. Oh, he hooks up again with Beetle. It's one panel he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that," and then the next panel is like, "How do I keep doing this?" And in the bed. But it was pretty good. I've still been enjoying it. If you want something that's more lighthearted, I guess I always say you should pick it up and check it out. They're still doing very well. I think I can't work my bag here.
Especially if you like the movie. I mean, I think it falls right in line.
It really does. It really does.
If not that main storyline, it's the characterization is there.
Yeah. I guess I would put it that way. And then I kind of had a tie here for my pick of the week, so I'm just going to talk about both of them. I'll talk about both of them, and then I'll tell you which one I think I'm going to pick. The first one, we have Star Wars issue 15. We get another excerpt from Obi-Wan's journal, which is really cool. It's a little further past the first one.
So
Anakin's a little
Jason
older.
Aaron?
It's still him. And then Mayhew's still doing he's doing the art now. I don't think that's who did it before. It looks a little, it looks a little different if you look at the cover. Yeah. It looks really good. I really enjoyed the art in it. But yeah, we get to see a little bit more of what happens. Luke, I think in this is probably, I don't think they say his age, but he's probably like 10 or 12 years old. Wow. But yeah, there's a lot of him kind of still looking out for, the Skywalker clan. Yeah. But then it shows his interaction with, kicking some sand people ass to help out some Jawas. And then at the end of it, let me flip through here real quick.
The goings on of Tatooine.
Yeah. I mean, it's been really, really good. But finally, Jabba's in the other issue where they did that journal excerpt. He ends up Obi-Wan, as Ben, ends up tangling with some of Jabba's water tax collectors. Yeah. Well, at the very end of this, it's Jabba talking to a bounty hunter. They're going to come looking for him. He's like, "Who the hell, is out there? And who did this to my tax collectors?" And then we find out at the very end that they hire I can't say his name, Black Kursantan, the big Wookiee.
Okay, I've seen that character.
Yeah,
it's like he's badass.
Chewie almost. He is in the issue 14 of Star Wars. He shows up, and him and Chewbacca go at it. Cool. So he's kind of become a reoccurring thing. But it was really good. So I'm kind of excited to see. I guess the next issue they're going to go back to probably the storyline proper, I guess. But these little offshoots for the journal have been really good.
That's one where I'm going to start picking up the trade paperback stuff because there's just so much Star Wars stuff out there. It's hard to just dig into it.
Well, I mean, I've been keeping it down to just the main title. Yeah. And then Darth Vader, which has also been really good. But yeah, the main title's been really good. The other one that's kind of a tie with it is the Old Man Logan #1.
Oh yeah.
I've been excited to see this one coming. It's got Lemire. He's on it, and then you've got Sorrentino on the art, which is I think fits the book really, really well.
Yeah, because he did the miniseries for Secret Wars,
right? Just to kind of let you know, because I'm not going to really spoil a whole lot with it being the first issue. It kind of starts out with him, he kind of comes to, and all he remembers is white light, and then he's standing nude in the middle of Times Square in New York.
It picks up where the mini left off.
Yeah, cool. And I'm guessing the white light is probably the very end of Secret Wars, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the reset
or
whatever.
Universe.
Yeah, so, he's there, he shows up in the middle of friggin' Times Square in the buff, covered in, blood and stuff. He has a run-in with a few of the local police force there, and of course gets away from them. But the issue kind of is him coming to terms. He finally, when he first shows up in the book, he doesn't have his memory. He's like, I don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
Well, he finally remembers all the horrible things, and he's like, that happened in the original Old Man Logan with the Hulks and his family and his son and that kind of thing. So he ends up, it flip-flops back and forth between then and then now. But he's decided to make it his mission to keep that from happening, to not let that come to pass.
That's cool.
And so he decides, he knows what he's here to do now. He's here to hunt. So the first thing he does is he goes after Black Butcher. And there's a little story about how in the Old Man Logan timeline, they had a little run-in, and he had hit Scotty, Logan's kid.
Yeah.
And Logan didn't do anything about it because of the crap going on in that. Okay. Well, he decides that's the first one on his list to hunt. And so he goes after him, confronts him. Of course, he's like, what the hell? What's going on? Why are you here? Why are you doing this? He ends up popping claws, cuts his arm off, and then, claws him right through the head under his chin and goes ahead and just kills him.
Yeah.
So that kind of sets the mood for, I think, the kind of book this is going to be.
Taking no prisoners.
But that's the whole thing is he's going on a list to keep this from happening. So he's writing on his wrist the people he's going after. The first one is the Butcher. The next one, he's going after Banner. So it's supposed to be Old Man Logan versus the Hulk.
He wants that Mysterio, too.
Mysterio's on there, and Red Skull's on there. So he's gunning for a few people. So there's the potential there to have some really good issues.
And Mysterio doesn't know what he has coming to him.
No, he doesn't.
This will be the Mysterio that didn't do anything right to him.
Yeah, no doubt. So, it's kind of a tough call for me on Pick of the Week. I'm probably going to have to go with the Old Man Logan just because I'm kind of a fanboy and I can't help it.
Well, it sounds
but
interesting.
That Star Wars 15, folks, we say it all the time here on the show. If you're not reading the title, you need to pick it up because it just keeps on delivering. So, Old Man Logan is pick of the week with a close second for Star Wars 15.
In the throes of Star Wars mania, that's appropriate, and Old Man Logan now sort of being the signature flagship of Wolverine, then that's appropriate as well, and a good time to sign off. So, folks, no matter how you're getting them, where you're getting them, or who you're getting them from, get your pulls. This has been a production of the Potty Humor Network. Find us online at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe to us weekly and never miss an episode by searching Potty Humor on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and good night.